You see the pages. You already know. Let's talk about Lonesome Dove some more. May have a quarter of the book left probably. I'm well into part 3 of the 3, I assume 3 parts of this book. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. I don't know if people who don't like westerns would like this book, but just I love western vibes. I love horses and cattle driving and shootouts and you know going to sleep on the plains and waking up on the plains. It's that outdoorsy, explorer in me, I guess, that loves this. But one thing I want to say about this book now that I've read so much of it and seen so much of what it has to offer, a lot of Blood Meridian is one of my favorite books by Cormac McCarthy. And people argue that's one of the more disturbing books that you can read just because of the violence and the subject matter and just how graphic that book is. This book doesn't handle as much like nihilist stuff as far like subject matter. It's not the most bleak book. It's a little more hopeful. But as far as violence and depictions of violence, so far I would almost argue that this book has been worse for me because in Blood Meridian, like you don't really care about any of the characters. They're kind of all the worst. The kid, even the main character, is tough to like. There's just not a lot to them, except for the judge and all the super evil ones. In this book, though, you kind of like everybody, with the exception of a few very villainous people. But there's a couple depictions of the way some men die in this book that even after only a few minutes of reading, I was attached to this person, and then they are brutally, brutally killed. And God, it's just really the emotional attachment plus the really graphic depiction of violence is something that no one has talked about whenever they're reviewing this or talking about it or recommending it to me. No one mentioned how violent this book gets, but there's some pretty serious violence that happens about a third of the way through, and I'm sure will continue. So just a heads up. But this is, if I could give a book 10 stars already, I would. It's so good. It's so perfectly for me. I love it.